Hey everybody, actually going out to get some eggs from my farm, fresh eggs. Buddies out in the country. It's always good being off the grid as much as possible. Granted, I'm like many of you, I'm not obviously completely off the grid, but I can take care of myself for a short period of time if I had to. Working today, just had a chance to kind of check things out online a little bit. Across social media outlets and a variety of different places. Kind of post the vice president, the VP debate last night. I didn't really have high expectations. I typically find Pence to be less than exciting, very calm, collective, always thanking this. And I just didn't really have high expectations of how he was going to kind of do it. And I don't know, I didn't have high expectations, and I know Kamala Harris is just a crazy bitch. I don't know any other way of saying it, but she's just crazy. She's about as left-wing as you can get. And so, I don't know. I started watching it, though, last night, and I got to tell you, that was impressive. I've never been more impressed, proud of Pence and the compliment that he brings to Trump than I was last night. And Kamala, she just showed herself for what she is. Unbelievable. Anyway, I was just really impressed. I thought Pence did a fantastic job in the debate. To me, head and shoulders, hands down, he won it. He had a chance to talk to and expose and show what the Trump administration is going to do in the second term for those people that never pay attention to him and what they're looking to do. So I think the debates are a great opportunity to expose and show what you're going to do to those people that never pay attention. So there's people out there, I'm just convinced of it, that only listen to the mainstream media, never listen to Trump, never listen to Pence, don't do at least some level of research of their own. Like simple research. They just kind of take everything for what it's worth. So those people that think Trump is just losing, the We the People movement is just blatantly losing this movement, I'm sure they dialed into that debate last night thinking that it was going to be a blowaway, just so they can kind of cheer it on. And they got to see and hear, what the We the People, the president and vice President Pence are going to do in the next term. And they also they also got to see kind of Kamala Harris for what she really is. And I think just at a great extent, it's still not completely exposed, but she kind of showed herself for what she really is. So that's really the value of these debates. It's not really about telling the Trump supporters something new. It's really more about exposing and exposing them for what they are, and sharing with them what we're going to do for those that never pay attention. That's what it's about. So that all being said, just watching, a lot of the media trends, watching social media since the debate last night and even in today, and I got to tell you, man, the propaganda engine is in full steam ahead. They're redlining. They're on. It's going to blow up if it kept up. So you, in mechanical, hot rod terms. They've got it redlined, and they can only sustain it so long before it blows up. So that's kind of where they are right now. And I saw a headline this morning about a poll. A poll in Europe shows that the consensus view is that they would rather have Biden over Trump. So, number one, I think the propaganda engine has done a fantastic job of brainwashing and emotionally spinning people up to hate Trump with a passion, with a fury, to a point of being possessed. That's kind of what I see. And they hate the current administration to a point where they don't want him for the next election, and they're going to vote for Biden. It's not they want Biden. I mean, I think even they see Biden as the empty shell of what he is. I think they, to some degree, see Kamala for what she is. But my hope is that with everything going on, the traditional 20 to 30% voter turnout is not going to be the norm this time around, and that you're looking 70, 80, 90% voter turnout this time around, because everybody needs to get out and vote. So number one, regardless of which side of this fence you sit on, everyone should vote and get out and say their piece. That's number one. Number two, I think the propaganda deep state is redlining to a point where everybody is concerned and will make their voice heard, and they will vote. And I think it's so important. I also heard, one of the reports I heard this morning was that in South Carolina, there were people that went to early voting and were turned away, that their absentee ballot was submitted, so they can't vote again. And these people had never submitted an absentee ballot request. So that's concerning. So they've got, I think, regardless of which way the vote goes, they're sowing so much confusion and chaos into the trusted system we've always had, that the post-election expectation is going to be chaos, confusion, and untrustingness in our electoral process. They've been projecting this for a while, that's what they're going to do. They're going to create so much chaos and confusion that it kind of goes through that process. Now, the one risk mitigation that the current administration is doing to mitigate this is the Supreme Court justice, which I hesitate to say anything about this because it just raises the alarm bell further. But having a 4-4 tie in the Supreme Court is a problem. Obviously, we need to have that 9th Supreme Court justice to break any possible tie for election nefariousness. So that's going to be critically important, and I have faith that it's going to happen. It's going to get done, but that's going to be critically important. I think it's critically important that everybody get out and vote. Get out and vote. Do whatever you can. Early vote. And that way, if you early vote and something screwy is happening in the system, unanticipated, then there's ways of rectifying it and getting your vote done. I think it's critically important to try not to just listen to the mainstream media that's feeding off your emotions, and use discernment around everything you're hearing. So I think that's going to be critically important, and I hope more people are taking this serious, because we're at that inflection point where it's good versus evil. It's pro-Constitution versus anti-Constitution. You look at the far left narrative. You look at Biden, Kamala, and their platform that they have said they are going to spearhead. You got to be careful of the world you're wishing for. You don't let the media spur passion to a point where you're willing to sacrifice your future, your children's future, to that point. Look at your kids, look at your life, and vote your conscience however you see fit. So anyway, that's kind of the main point. I've said it before, and I'll kind of say it again. Trump is brash. I said long time ago during one of the earlier administrations, fed up of presidential candidates saying and promising they're going to do all this stuff only to do nothing. They out and out lied, said they were going to do something that I voted on them for to do something, and they didn't do it. And, Trump is brash. He basically tells you exactly what he thinks. And frankly, I like that. I like knowing exactly what he thinks. I like knowing that when he says he's going to do something, damn it, he's going to do it. And if you're on the left and you hear him say, this is what I'm going to do, take solace in the fact he's going to do it. And if he's predicted or made an observation about something, 9 times out of 10, if not 99 times out of 100, it has been true. So I don't know. I would just take that for what it's worth. So the media, the propaganda engine is in balls to the walls. They're redlining kind of their efforts to hypnotize you into believing Orange Man bad, and that the world's going to come to an end if you don't get him out of there. I think quite the contrary. I think what Trump and the administration is promising, what they've done to date, that they've delivered on, is making the world better. I'm middle class. I'm not poor. I'm not rich. I'm very much in the middle class realm. And I've seen substantive improvements in my life across the board, where I had for years been trending downwards on a variety of different fronts. His presence in the office has us trending upwards. So lies or not, no lies, my life is substantively better. So people ask why. It's not emotional, it's tangible. If I was continuing to precipitously move downwards, if my economic well-being was continuing to trend downwards, if my taxes were trending upwards, if all these things were true in his world, then that would be a different story. But no, he says a lot of things that people don't like. I personally like it, but you need to look past the rhetoric. You need to look past the tone. And you're never going to meet this guy. You're not going to go to dinner with this guy. Your kids are not going to marry into his family. So get over it, because it shouldn't matter. What should matter is your life better? And don't factor into it your emotional state because of what the mainstream media has put you into. If your life is better, and it's not because of the mainstream media emotional state they put you in, that should be what governs the decisions you make. And my suggestion also would be, turn off the mainstream media. I frankly, as soon as I turned it off and started, doing a little research and kind of opening my mind to other things, going to the whitehouse.gov and looking at executive orders that he's doing, actionable, again, it's actionable things. Listen to his speeches. Listen to the press conferences. There's news feeds on YouTube and other places where you can watch the news feeds and listen to what they're saying. Push beyond the mainstream media. See what's really going on, and I think you may be surprised at the reality outside of what the mainstream media is staging for you. So anyway, again, to recap real quickly, but Pence kicked it out of the park last night. Had low expectations, but he nailed it. I think his partnership with President Trump I'm more impressed with it now than I ever have been because of that. So I was pleasantly surprised. The propaganda engine is in full steam ahead, brainwashing the people to think one thing when reality is another. I encourage you to look beyond that. It's a shame you have to, but that's kind of where we are. And, take all that for what it's worth. So just wanted to get a few ideas out there while it was top of mind and fresh in my mind. And certainly love to hear any color or thoughts you have as well. But let's wake everybody up. Let's make sure everybody gets out there and votes. Everybody. That's what's important. Talk soon.